Hey, my neck is killing me.
I can't feel my legs.
Look, I think I see water.
No, that's just a mirage.
Did I hear someone say massage? Hello, fellas. I think I can help you out with those aches and pains.
I never heard of anybody massaging a horse.
Yeah, besides, we're starving. Hey, my neck feels great. Thanks, Doc.
I bet there ain't nothing you can do for my legs. Wow, unbelievable. I feel like a champion racehorse.
This is Geary Whiting and my co-host. Who are you? Oh, this is Brandy Armenta. I had a little mind glitch there for a while. This is slowtalkradio.com. We cover all kinds of interesting things on this show. Our Mr. Producer, you'll hear me from time to time say, "What do you think, Mr. Producer?" Or he'll give me the 2 thumbs up or the thumbs down. Well, that's our one and only Brad Golden. And then we have James Davis out on the, he'll be the one that you'll call in. He'll be the one that talks to you, and he'll say very nice things to you. So, Brandy, how's your week been?
Pretty good. So far, so good. A little warm today, but other than that.
Yeah. Brandy has an interesting story. She was just telling me about her horse not drinking water for 3 days. Tell the story.
He just noticed he hadn't been taking down his water the first day, so started paying closer attention to it. The next day, he didn't drink any, so that's why I was telling you today. If he hadn't taken in any water, we were going to have some issues. But and it all had to do with his bucket, I guess. Changed out into a whole nother water container, which the bucket he had been drinking out of, he had had for a month and a half. So I'm not sure what that issue was, and gave him his mineral block, and he's been great drinking all day. But with the heat, it was kind of very off for him. We know how much he drinks, and he was not drinking anything.
Well, I find that interesting that just changing out from a black water thing to a...
Yeah, that he had been using even. Yeah, to one of the bigger mineral buckets that are... Yeah.
Anyway, he's drinking.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry.
I do not stress, about him drinking now. It's been a few days of...
Well, our program is really... today's program is about horses, of course. And I think if we're going to title this program, it would be a voice for the horse. Brandy has gone through my equine massage program. We have my friend Yvonne Allen calling in about later on today, about 25 after, and she is a voice for the horse in Canada, and we'll be talking about what she has done, her dream, and how it has come on over into the USA.
Amazing, yeah.
And you were just on her site?
Yes, amazing.
Yeah. You hear that, Yvonne?
You're a wonderful woman.
Yeah. And Stephanie, one of my students, this is the ideal student. I'll tell you, I've had some great conversations with her, and we're going to talk about what she has experienced out of the program. And I do want to bring your attention to this program. You've seen me talk about this before, but this is my in-home study program. It's for horse and human. And today I'm going to hit a subject that's very important. It's been something of controversy for a while. Where did my page go? I lost my page here.
Is this
you're going to have to talk, Brandy.
Tied up? Is that what we're going on today? This page?
Oh, here it is. We're going to be talking about poison wormers. Oh, nasty stuff. And everything is in my in-home study program, right there. Geary Whiting's in-home study program or in-home study course. And I'm going to first tell you a story, if I can get a little crowded in here. Okay. All right. Years ago, I did an unintentional experiment. I was giving a worming formula to my horse Misty, and I did this by accident. I didn't. Well, at the time I was married, and my wife had a sailboat, and she said, "I'm heading down for the to work on my boat for a couple of weeks. So what I want you to do is." I wrote out all the instructions. Just go ahead and continue feeding Misty the routine. I said, okay. So did I tell you this story in school? I said, all right. Well, she said, I put all the information on the board, so just go ahead and read the board, and you'll be fine. Well, what she didn't understand is I don't read the board, nor do I read instructions. I just work on it, and if it doesn't work, then I will read the. I think that's kind of a guy thing. If it doesn't work, then you read.
There you go. If all else fails.
I don't need directions as we pull into the gas station to get directions. Okay. So she said I put everything out, and all you have to do is just whatever's out, go ahead and feed it. Well, there was one bucket that was sort of out, and I go, I think that's out. So I fed twice a day, along with all the other ingredients that were out. Well, we found out
she comes home.
2 weeks later. She goes into the tack room.
2 weeks later.
And she goes, Geary, did you know you've been feeding Misty the worming formula? I said, really? I said, uh-oh. I said, well, look at her. She's happy. Well, so we did 28 feedings on the worming formula. And so I called Frank Lampley. I go, hey, Frank, this is what I did. He started to laugh. He goes, well, that's a little more than I would suggest, but you can't hurt your horse. And he says, I do 8 times out of experiment. I do 8 times the recommended allowance, and we've had nothing but great positive effects. You know, all it is herbs, minerals, and vitamins. That was it. And it strips off the membrane of the worm, and the horse's digestive acids dissolve the worms. So you kill all the worms. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the downside to worming. One of the I'm going to read out of my book. So when you pick up this book, they'll say, oh, that sounds pretty familiar. Would you take poison if you had parasites? All commercial wormers on the market are just that, poison. They cause damage to the stomach and the intestines. The effects of worming with these products are vast. The villi of the wall of the intestine swells partially, closing. The pores are inhibited, and the ability and they don't have the ability to absorb nutrients, especially proteins. It is the number one cause of colic. It causes damage to the urinary tract, kidney damage, liver damage, damage to the pancreas, adrenal glands, reproductive problems and miscarriages, thyroid, bone marrow damage. What can happen when there is bone marrow depression? Well, since the bone marrow makes all of the blood cells, bone marrow depression can lead to every kind of anemia. Bone marrow depression will reduce the body's ability to fight diseases and infections. So as you can see, the poison wormer has some pretty nasty adverse effects on these horses. What can happen when the thyroid malfunctions, which is one of the problems that we have with these poison wormers? Hyperactivity, nervous disorders, behavior problems, sore feet, thin hoof walls. The thin hoof walls is one of the reasons why when we take shoes off of our horses, their feet are very sensitive, and people say, well, I tried taking shoes off of my horse, but my horse's feet were just very sore. Well, that's because, as the average person does, they worm their horse. So, slow-growing hoofs, tendonitis, poor muscle tone. any one or more of the above plus a dozen or more other problems can happen. What happens when the liver malfunctions? Okay, we're going to find out. The liver has over 500 jobs to do. Liver damage can affect protein synthesis, B vitamins production, and can, in fact, affect every cell in the body.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, including a number of blood cells. The symptoms can range from slight malfunction to one or more organs completely shutting down. Often this can go unnoticed, but can and does affect the horse. It may be a leading cause to death among horses.
Colic, yeah, that kind of. Yeah.
There's so many problems that come from just worming our horses. But there is a natural wormer available, and that was a story about Misty. So with all of the organs being going into malfunction, you're going to have a huge vet bill with all the drugs and all the problems that the body is going through from poison. Now, as I was saying on the Frank Lampley products, and I would recommend you go to franklampley.com and give them a call and talk to them about any problem you might have. Again, I do not get any kickbacks from recommending Frank Lampley. What I have arranged, though, is for everyone who calls in, if you just mention Geary Whitings Equine Massage School, then they will give you a discount on your products. I don't take money for supporting, because people might think, well, you're getting a kickback, so of course you're going to endorse that product. Well, I made it a policy years ago not to be financially taken care of and getting into the business of making money off of recommending something. So you get the discount. So what do you think, Brandy?
I like that. That's a good idea. I do want to touch on something too, on top of, you think about just the worming, but today too, some of these fly sprays and stuff that we use and tick drops, that you put down are just horrible too. So along the lines of that natural stuff too, I'm sure that Frank has something like that as well too. If you adding all these things together, like you're saying, the wormers, fly sprays, all that adds up quite a bit over a horse's life, I'd imagine.
Well, in my book, that's just one of the subjects. I cover 134 different problems that horses come down with, what causes it, how to address it, and of course, the big one is how to prevent and keep your horse happy and keep your money in your bank account or your wallet rather than having to put out. So as you see from the poison wormers, there's a lot of problems, and your horse can go through a series of major issues. Again, this is Geary Whiting and Brandy, and we are slowtalkradio.com. We're going to have a call-in pretty soon from Stephanie, and so we're keeping an eye on our computer, and this is our little computer whiz here. I was going to say something. What was I going to say?
Came and went. I hate that.
Yeah, I'll remember it after the show is over. Well, I don't remember. So anyway, some of the problems we do get with our poison wormers would be intestinal upset and colic, bone marrow suppression, thyroid malfunction. It looks like we have a call coming in, Brandy.
Ooh.
High tech.
Hello.
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 Hi there.
Hello.
Is this Stephanie?
Hello.
Is this Stephanie? What do we have to
It's
do?
Stephanie.
Oh, good.
Yay!
Very cool. Have you been listening to the program, Stephanie?
Yes, I have.
Well, this is your opportunity to talk a little bit about maybe some of your thoughts on what we were just discussing.
I was curious if you knew the remedy, or because I actually, when you started talking about Frank Lampley's products, I went onto his website and started looking at the products. There really is a lot there. I didn't realize how for different things, minerals and formulas, and would we call them to ask them what formula to use for the worming?
Yes. Any question you have, they will have the answer for you. But what he recommends is basic minerals. Here's Frank's suggestion. For routine monthly use of horses, cows, goats, sheep, cats, dogs, etc., add 2 8-ounce to 4 ounces measuring cup of basic mineral to the grain per 1,000 pounds of body weight. Add enough water to make the wet mash sloppy wet. Feed twice a day, 2 days straight, and repeat the following month. Then every other month after that. For horses with EPM and cows with Johns, feed 3 ounces or feed 3 8-ounces of or 6 4-ounces measuring cups of grain 3 times daily for at least 30 days, possibly longer. So basically, he is saying feed his basic minerals. And he notes down here in his ingredients, pulverized rock with trace minerals. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's his mineral source. Rocks of all things. What a concept. Nothing synthetic. It's real. And it comes in a powder form, so you know it's real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. So now, Stephanie, you and I have had some great conversations. You have started using my in-home study program, and I would like to let you talk now for the next 5 or so minutes about some of the things out of the program that that you especially appreciate. So the floor is yours.
Okay. What I appreciate most is the ability to carry the book everywhere I go. Always in my truck. Because it is a big resource. If you have, even if your clients have a question and you're going out there and you're learning, you want to have something you can follow back on, and then you look back and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, especially the nutrition.
What can we do with arthritis here?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I carry my book wherever I go. A lot of things we can say out of our memory because we know this stuff, but it's nice to pull the book out, and that lends a little something to some credence, I believe. But there are also times when I maybe don't put everything in there. I go, oh, look at that. I think to myself, look at that. I need to mention that. It's right there in the book. It's a great tool to have. I carry that myself.
I agree, and then that's when your students have the privilege to be able to call you.
Yes. I love it when my students call in. If they don't have the answers, I will do my best to get them the answers ASAP.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with her. This is a very handy guide and book to have around. I was saying about the nutrition part even alone is just quick, go through it.
So
it's
go ahead, Stephanie. Sorry.
I was just going to say a lot of the information in the whole book is easy to understand. It's not, you are to the point instead of coming up with scenario after scenario after scenario. It is straight to the point, and you get a really positive feedback with it.
We were talking earlier today about the video portion of this in-home certification program, that part of it. And I remember you saying the first time we discussed this, how you were a little camera shy. And I said, well, we're going to make a movie star out of you. And she said, well, I'm camera shy. And I said, you're going to be very surprised as to how easy this will be. You have accumulated a lot of knowledge. And if you speak from the heart, if you come from a side of genuineness, then you're going to be able to talk like a little child forever. So talk a little bit, or tell us a little bit about what it felt like to be a movie star.
I will say in the very beginning, I felt the shyness, and I felt like I had to read what I had written down on paper. And then the more I thought about it as I was doing the video, I started rambling. I became comfortable, like a whole different side of me.
Then you had all your information in your brain. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It was just like, wow, there's so much there that I retained. I couldn't believe I retained.
Until you were put in the spot too, huh? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
There are several reasons. There are several reasons why I created my program the way I did. I didn't want to have a multiple choice, true or false answer. I wanted my students to actually internalize rather than just go out of the brain. I wanted them to internalize the information. And so when they talked about it, that meant that they were going to have to do some thinking about what they were reading. Because I wanted to certify a student to do an in-home certification program, I have to know that you got it as if you were in school. So the program is really easy to grasp. It's straightforward, as you said, and it's easy to get the knowledge. And when it's all said and done, when you walk away, you become a plethora of wonderful, functional knowledge.
The challenge I feel with the course is accepting your fears, to not doubt your potential, to be able to go out there and perform and know, because you're at home doing this, not in person. And you have to be able to understand that trust the information that's given to you.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, excellent. We're going to have another call coming in, Stephanie. Is there any last final... Yep, we got another call coming in right now. Is there a last kind of comment you would like to leave everybody with?
I just want to say it's been an honor to be a part of this program, and thank you, Geary, for accepting me into the program, and I look forward to sharing more in the future, and I hope to go far with everything. I hope to go far and make a difference.
You're going to. I know this about you. You're a remarkable individual. Thank you for calling in, Stephanie.
Bye, Stephanie.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. So drop. Hi, Geary here.
Hi, this is Yvonne.
Yvonne, voice for the horse.
Yay.
Woohoo!
You know what? Thanks for inviting me into this conversation. I actually just got back from vacation, and I just rode my bicycle out to the farm to see my horses, which I haven't seen in 9 days, and they are just speaking languages like you wouldn't believe, but they nicker, of course. You know what they do. And they're like glue on me. So
9 days, yeah.
a
They're
great
probably
day.
happy to see you. Yes, happy day.
So what
Yeah.
Yvonne, what I want you to do for the next 5 minutes or 4 minutes is tell us about your dream. It's a remarkable thing that you've done in creating Voice for the Horse. And of course, that's spilling over into the USA, where we're bringing in Voice for the Horse USA. And let's see, as a way of background, you were inducted into the Massage Therapy Hall of Fame this year, along with my teacher, Dr. Doan T. Kaneko. And your project, Voice for the Horse, is worth... Brandy was looking at your website today, and she came in and she said...
I watched that video, too, of the induction stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
And Brandy goes, wow.
You are an amazing woman.
Did you get that? You're an amazing woman. So tell us, amazing woman,
I'm
about...
just a Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian guy here.
Tell us about Voice for the Horse, your dream, how it came about, and where you would like to see it go in the next 4 minutes.
Well, much of it is on the website in that induction video, Gary, and that was just off the cuff. I mean, it just came out naturally to speak because it's very easy to speak about things when you have passion in life, and horses have been my passion all my life. And so it essentially it is to bring the grace and beauty back into the world of humanity, because we don't need horses anymore, so we say, because everything is so electronic. We've got, the fast cars, we've got all the technology, and we have nearly almost, in some cases, I think, forgotten who the horse is. And it's a difficult, I'm just, again, going from the cuff here, it's just my insight is people in the horse world love their horses because they have them, they've got their ranches, they've got the farms, but there's a disconnect between communities, in particular, in my mindset, knowing how horses help children, that there needs to be a connection made from city to country, that we can bring back children to the country, bring children to the country to gain lessons learned by the horses, what they will teach us. And that is the objective. Every community in the United States of America now has equine, pretty much, equine facilitator learning centers. Mm-hmm. They've got riding camps for children, and it's just pairing up the kids at risk that we can take and move them into that environment. And this is to include Canada, of course, right? And we're starting where we are in British Columbia.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I never imagined one person could come up with such a passionate program as you have with Voice for the Horse. And once I saw what you had done, it really started drawing me in to wanting to be involved with Voice for the Horse. There is an expression, a saying that I use quite often. It says, teachers touch the future. And they certainly do. And so we're look like we're getting kind of on the shy side. Mr. Producer, how much more time do we have? 2 minutes. Got 2 minutes to go. Okay, so you've been listening to the show, Yvonne. Anything, any comment you want to make before hopping off air here?
I'm going to say right now, because everything's so computer generated, that we have the opportunity to create international connections, community connections within all our states and provinces of Canada. United States, of course, being the states, Canada being the provinces. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and that's all internet generated. You see that with fundraising, you see that with nonprofit organizations. Now we're doing something different with the horse.
Right.
And how they serve us.
Well, excellent. We're going to have to go here. This is Geary Whiting, Brandy Armanta, and our producers, and we are Voice for the Horse. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks,
I hope
Yvonne.
you gained something. Thanks, Yvonne.
Nice to meet you. All right.
Bye.
Yep. Good as new, all right.
Wow, that was a fast show.